Alright, welcome to the video, I suppose, and in this video I'm going to be talking about something that's a bit hard to explain. It's known as the context, I guess, or the setting. Basically, it's how you justify Dragon Quest Monsters' entire gameplay, which is having children go out and catch monsters. For an example that's not Dragon Quest Monsters, to help explain what I'm trying to do here, take a look at Pokemon. How does Pokemon justify children going out catching a bunch of animals in this fantastical world of theirs? Well, they do that by replacing every known animal with a Pokemon equivalent and having them catch those, even if some of those are capable of warping reality. As such, there's entire structures set up just for the purpose of this, to the point where Pokemon have just as big a point in life as anything else in this universe. So how does Dragon Warrior Monsters do this? Well, it shouldn't be surprising, but this is done differently in every game. So let's start with the very first game, Dragon Warrior Monsters. Although this has a character from Dragon Quest VI as its protagonist, it does not take place in the world of Dragon Quest VI. Rather, it takes place in a separate world, which is implied to consist of multiple islands, each one of them centered around a tree of some sort. The main hub world for the original Dragon Warrior Monsters is Great Tree, although you also hear about Great Log and Dead Tree, amongst others. This is done in a way in order to create separate universe from Dragon Quest VI to prevent confusion, as why there weren't Monster Masters in Dragon Quest VI, and allows Monster Masters to take a bigger forefront when it comes to the actual game itself. As such, it's very commonplace for multiple people, not just children, often adults, become monster masters of some sort, depending on if they're able to be fine with catching these devastating creatures, which are still capable of doing all these horrible things that are possibly shown doing in other Dragon Quest games in the main series. Dragon Warrior Monsters 2 takes place exclusively in this world, but rather than Great Tree being the main hub world, it's instead in Great Log. And it is still, of course, commonplace for people to be able to befriend and catch these monsters, to the point where people can make a living just opening farms in order to hold monsters for other masters. This is seen as the parents of the main characters, Kobe and Tara, own a farm, which is why they moved to Great Log in the first place, so they can operate it for the monster masters that are there. As such, it's still completely normal, and it's still a separate world dedicated to the collection of these monsters, which are still incredibly dangerous forces. In Dragon Quest Monsters Joker, though, they decide to change it up a bit by trying to claim that the entire world is not based around Dragon Quest monsters. Rather, they're separate islands, each with monsters, although they don't take a forefront. However, their main hub world still has a high dependence on these monster scouts, as they're called in this, as they force you to go out and become monster masters for the fun of the chairman, Dr. Snap. Although they claim that it's just a normal part of the world, all the islands in this world still almost seem exclusively meant for dragon monster scouts, although there may be one or two exceptions. For the most part, monster scouts are kind of a big deal. And the same kind of applies for Joker 2. Joker 3, on the other hand, is completely in Japanese, but I can't speak Japanese. However, Caravan Heart, which I skipped over earlier, actually does also an interesting thing here, where it actually puts you in a separate world again, but this one is somewhat based off of Dragon Quest III for some reason, as it requires you to collect the Orbs of Erdrick, or Lodo, depending on your translation of the game. I don't have a properly translated version, so that's the translation I've come up with. Either way, once you collect these orbs, you're able to get your wish to return Kiefer, who's from Dragon Quest VII, back to the Dragon Quest VII world. That being said, being a monster master isn't actually incredibly commonplace. In fact, Kiefer is pretty much the only monster master in the group, although you're able to befriend normal people and have them assist on the field of battle as well. Anyway, let's move on to Dragon Quest Monsters, The Dark Prince. The Dark Prince is incredibly different because rather than Monster Masters being a big deal, it actually ties in with Pizarro's lore as being known as the Master of Monsterkind, excuse me there. where basically he befriends all monsters. It does this on an interesting twist where, at the start of the game, Pizarro is cursed where he is unable to harm monsters, which prevents him from attacking them or defending them as normal people would. As a result, he is trained by Monty in order to tame these monsters and use them for his own aid. This eventually leads to him becoming the Dark Prince and other things, but I kinda can't speak too much of it without not only spoiling the Dark Prince, but spoiling Dragon Quest IV. So I would say if you want to hear me talk about that, let me know. Otherwise, go play the game. Anyway, that's about it. I hope that all made sense. If not, let me know in the comments how I can clarify it. Or if you just don't care, then don't let me know. I don't care. Anyway, you don't have to subscribe if you don't want to. I guess it would be nice, but at the same time, it's not like I really care. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. There's, of course, plenty others. If there's anything I could have done better or anything you feel like I did wrong, once again, let me know. I am prone to mistakes, and I'm also prone to mispronouncing words. So, with that being said, this is Defeater of Souls, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.